Here, I've done the diameter of 0.5, that's that diameter, right there. It's a blind hole, so I've got the depth symbol 1.25. That's from there to there. Now, once I've done the main hole, then I'm going to go to my counterbore and do that. So here's my diameter of that, that's that diameter right there. It has a depth of 0.25, that's that dimension right there. All the size dimensions here. Now, when I get these types of holes, threaded holes, this hole, if I cut this in section, where should the dimensional information be? So let's change this. Now I've gone and I've got section view. Where should all of this dimensional information be?
Right there, in section view.
I'm going to switch it over to here. Okay. So now I'm going to do diameter. I'm going to do diameter. I'm going to do depth and depth. So let's go there and there.
What about the whole box?
That is not there. Still located here though. Still located. Somebody said, what about what?
The whole box? Do dimensions on it?
This little piece down here?
No, the whole thing. From one corner to the other.
I did do the whole thing, didn't I? What am I
We
missing?
wouldn't measure
Well-
Stay
Like
back.
your OBJ lines.
Your
Or
other
box.
Yeah,
office
like
lines, the outside.
the square
You
outside,
dimension anywhere.
the square.
Oh, the square. Yeah, you would dimension the square too.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm just focusing on the whole, but yes, you still have to do this guy too. Yeah.
But you do that in section view also.
Yeah, now there's a page that has most of these examples on it for you in your text. Page 8, 29, 830 have these same examples. So a blind hole, okay, like this one. Okay, here, again, this shouldn't be up here. They're saying I'd come down here, this should have a diameter pulled off right here. If I've got a countersink and I go in section, it would be like this.
So even on there, like figure 17.29, and they've got the angle over there. Would you still place the angle there because of?
Yeah, where this is a countersink,
Mhm.
okay, that's the way it should be. No, we're not really doing that. This would be a specialty type of hole. The thing you gotta remember, if you're doing a countersink, we have bits that cut this stuff. I've got a couple in the back, I'll pull them out. So if I've got where I'm doing a countersink that's a standard like an 82 degree or a 90, we've got bits that do that. So I want the full thing because I'm going to use a standard bit for it. If I don't have one that's not a nominal size or one that I don't have a bit for, I could go this route because this got to be hand built in some form or fashion. Huh?
Hand built screw, go with it.
No, the hole for it, yeah. The screw might be hand built that matches with it if that's what it's used for. What does that mean, right? Dollars?
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Why
So,
reinvent the wheel?
don't do that unless it's needed.
Why reinvent it?
While we're on this page, I don't really like this diagram. I think it's a little crowded. I don't know why they've done that. But here's your ANSI standards. So if you're dealing with an old drawing, notice you see, instead of symbols, you see abbreviations. This is saying the new standards. And in essence, really what's changed the most, this is what we want for a cylinder right here. although all the others are acceptable if you have no other option. Then they show some stuff down here. Again, down here, they're just showing this section just to give you a good view on what the dimension means. Now, one thing I always see, and I just want to clear up. Like here, notice they use 2 lines here. Do I have to use 2 lines? No. Okay. But almost every example in your text has 2 lines for that. You don't need to, folks. As long as it sticks with that hole, I'd put a comma, and I can put the 1.00 right here. Now, if I'm talking about a different feature, yeah, I need to cycle to a new line, like the counterbore, countersink, all of these. But keep in mind for when you're trying to space this on the drawing, you don't have to have 2 lines there. You can get it all on 1 line. See, like here, they have 3 lines. Even if that was a blind hole, that's going to be 2 lines for me. So let's say it's a blind hole, that would have my depth right here. And then I would pull this up and put it right here. Mostly because I don't really like doing guidelines for my text, especially by hand. I can do that quicker. I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about. As you go and get cylinders, folks, go to your handout. I think it has much better examples on cylinders like we talked about. Page 311, 310, 312. If you go to page 301, has some good radius data on it. Like we talked, preferred, small, here's that example I gave you just a couple of minutes ago. It's really small, I go to this. Good examples of how to do this. What are you folks seeing on your drawings that you have any questions on as far as, because you get into number 3 and 4, you're still going to start getting into cylinders, right? What, 2B, is that your first one? 2A? Okay. Do you have any questions about how you would go ahead and do that? I'll turn to that page, I guess. Okay, so we start seeing them right here. This one, how would you do the cylinder? Gotta locate, right? Do I need to locate in the next direction? Or a Y direction? Excuse me, this is my X location. I've got a negative cylinder and a positive cylinder. Do I need to locate in the Y direction?
Yeah. Well, if your radius will do it.
That size locates, doesn't it? Tangent, tangent? No, I don't have to locate, self-locating in that direction. So I've got that one. That one there. I think all those cylinders are now done. Be careful, don't come in here, Ben, and do this. Can I do that? That's a double dimension, because I've got the length here and here. If I do that, that should be a reference. I'm telling the reader this is unnecessary. But it'd be a nice one to do, because this thing's going to be packaged in some form or fashion, probably.
You can also do it off the body, right?
Mhm.
You do that?
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, you could pull it off of right here,
Okay.
if you wish, off of the quadrant location. You could put that.
And then-
Make sure you get that gap, because this thing's going to wrap around, right? So you're going to have to get more than 16. Okay, and you could put it right here with the reference. That's your choice. And I mean, as far as grouping, because you got to take care of that slot too.
Yeah.
How about this one? I would change one thing on this thing immediately. It's getting this,
Mhm.
okay? Because I'm locating all four. Is this on a quadrant location? Is that on a quadrant? Is that on a quadrant? Is that on self-located? Okay, all I need is distance from here to center. All of those four are located. Now, how would I do the size? 4 by. Those are done. Still have another negative cylinder right here. That one should be done. This is a positive cylinder. Actually, you got 2 positive cylinders here. That one and that one. But negatives in this view, positives here. Anybody gonna run a section on this guy? If you run a section, this would still be done here, because it's a location. But now, I've got section lines up here, right? So this goes like this, and through. This is gone. So here, I would do 1, 2, 3, that's going to be my 4 by. It switched over there, right? Negative cylinders are dimensioned in section as positive cylinders. Center lines are great for locating stuff. Save you a ton of work. Yes, sir.
So I did mine as a half section.
Okay? And I would probably stick with this protocol. Now, you're going to have, are you doing sectioning the top half? Okay. So let's draw what that looks like. Again, I'm still going to have this guy over here. So you're doing a half section. The center line's going to be there. So you're going to be looking at this view. So we've still got positives. So this guy will be done here. This guy will be done here. This guy, I think I can still do it here. The only one I can't get, because I won't see this, because this isn't going to be here, right?
Right.
As you show a profile view in the bottom half.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm still going to have to do that one over here. And I think that takes care of everything. Now, why wouldn't I take this? Because keep in mind, this is going to be a profile. This will not be here. I don't see anything I can get to. Okay, so that's the only change I would make, would be the center hole. Yeah, half sections are specifically designed for objects like this.
I just wasn't sure how to do the 4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, that guy's still got to sit over here.
Yeah, I knew that one, but I wasn't sure about the 4x.25.
Yeah, I think I would still leave that right there. Now, has anybody gotten to this one yet?
Yeah.
To dimension?
Yeah.
This is a slot.
Gives you 3 examples.
There is examples in the text. Slots are double dimensioned. I'll cover this in detail on Monday. I'm going to go to specialty things like slots, tapers, these types of items. If you get a little ahead, follow one of the examples in the text. Slots are intentionally double dimensioned based on the way they're built. Whether the thing's cut, we got a router, or whatever. We have different devices that we're using to make those. And so we have to double dimension those. Follow the examples in the text. What page on?
8:30.
830 has the
You
slots.
want okay?
Your handout, yes, your handout also has slots. I think this guy is 1, 2, isn't it? One of your drawings? By the way, I think the views they have are not sufficient on this. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, just because they give you something, you got to look at this. Okay, this is not described in these views. Because that thing, if I was to look at, you got to get this view is what I'm saying. Because it could be that, right? We don't know. It could be that. Okay. It could be that. It could be a lot of different shapes. Okay, so you're going to need another view. What are you going to make up there? I don't know. Make what you want. Make sure it projects. Make sure it's dimensioned correctly. Whether you went with a triangle or a circle or a square, I'm going to leave that to you. Just make sure you draw it, project it correctly, and dimension it correctly. I think you got that guy too. Bunch of specialty holes on that. All right, I think that's as far as I wanted to go today. We kind of covered all the things, showing you where you have examples of this stuff so you can move forward with your drawings. Keep in mind, you can always ask me for if you got a question on that also. Be happy to do some sketching with you and see what works the best. Should we do a game today? We haven't done a Fun Friday for a while.
No.
Yeah.
We've only done one.
I think we will.
Yeah, we've only done one. It's been a pretty busy semester. Yeah, let's do one. We have